Don't worry, sweetheart. Christmas changes everything.
Snow fell against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Sterling Industries boardroom as Cameron Sterling reviewed the termination list. Christmas Eve, the worst day to fire people. But the board had demanded cuts. 43 employees, gone by end of business. Cameron was 38 years old with dark hair and the kind of commanding presence that made people listen. CEO for 5 years. Successful by every measure. Except the one that mattered, he was alone. His marriage had ended 2 years ago. No children. No family. Waiting at home. Just an empty penthouse and another year of solitary holidays. Sir, we need your signature, his assistant, Marcus, said. Placing the termination documents in front of him, Cameron picked up his pen. Started with the first name, Jennifer Morrison, Marketing. Coordinator 5 years with the company. Single mother. He hesitated, then signed. He was on the 10th name when he heard it. A small voice. "Excuse me, mister." Cameron looked up. A little girl stood in the doorway of the boardroom, maybe 4 years old with blonde, curly hair and wearing a pink dress. She clutched a worn teddy bear. The executives at the table turned to stare. "How did you get in here?" Cameron asked. Not unkindly, just confused. "I was waiting for my mommy," the little girl said. "She works here." "Sweetheart, this is a private meeting," Cameron said. "You need to go back to wherever you were." "But I have to tell you something," the girl insisted. She walked further into the room, right up to Cameron's chair. "It is important." Cameron glanced at Marcus, who looked equally baffled. "What is your name?" Cameron asked. "Ella," the little girl said. "And what do you need to tell me, Ella?" The little girl looked at the papers on the table, then back at Cameron. Her blue eyes were serious. "Please do not fire my mommy." The room went silent. Cameron felt something tighten in his chest. "What?" "My mommy works really hard," Ella said, her voice small but determined. "She makes breakfast and takes me to daycare, and then she comes here. And she is always tired, but she never complains. Because she loves me." Tears filled the child's eyes. "If you fire her, we will not have Christmas. And Mommy cries at night when she thinks I am sleeping, because she is worried about money. But I heard her tell her friend that this job is everything." Ella clutched her teddy bear tighter. "So please, mister, please do not fire my mommy." Cameron could not breathe. He looked down at the list, at the names. These were not just numbers. They were people. People with children like Ella. People who would cry at night, people who were counting on him. "What is your mother's name?" Cameron asked quietly. "Jennifer Morrison." Ella said. Cameron looked at the first signature on his list. The one he had already signed. Jennifer Morrison, Marketing Coordinator. Single mother. He closed his eyes. "How did you get up here, Ella?" "I was in the break room on Mommy's floor," Ella explained. "She told me to wait there, but I heard people talking about firings, and I got scared. So I looked for the biggest boss to ask him not to fire my mommy." One of the executives cleared his throat. "Sir, should we call security?" "No," Cameron said. He looked at Ella, really looked at her, at this brave little girl who had navigated an entire corporate building to save her mother. "Ella, do you know where your mother is right now?" "At her desk," Ella said, working really hard. Cameron stood. "Gentlemen," he said to the room, meeting adjourned. "Sir, we need those signatures," Marcus protested. I said, "Meeting adjourned." Cameron held out his hand to Ella. "Come on. Let me take you to your mother." Ella slipped her small hand into his. They walked through the halls. Ella chattering about her teddy bear, whose name was Patches, about how she wanted a bicycle for Christmas, but knew they could not afford it, about how her mommy was the best mommy in the world. Cameron felt something cracking open inside him. On the 14th floor, they found Jennifer Morrison, 29 years old, with blonde hair like her daughter. She sat at her desk working on a presentation. When she looked up and saw Ella, her face went white. "Ella!" she gasped. Standing quickly, "I told you to stay in the break room." "I am so sorry, sir," she said to Cameron. "She knows better than to wander. It is quite all right." Cameron said. Jennifer pulled Ella. Close, baby, you cannot just leave where Mommy puts you. But Mommy, I had to, Ella said. I had to ask the boss man not to fire you. Jennifer's face went pale. She looked at Cameron. Sir, Can we talk? Cameron interrupted. In private? They went to a small conference room. Ella sat in a chair with patches. Jennifer stood, waiting, terrified. How long have you been with the company? Cameron asked. 5 years. And your performance reviews? All excellent, sir. Cameron nodded. Tell me about Ella. Jennifer looked. Confused, sir. Tell me about your daughter. Jennifer glanced at Ella. She is 4. Her father left when I was pregnant. I have raised her alone. This job, Jennifer's voice broke. This job is how I feed her, how I keep a roof over her head. I know. I am on the termination list. I saw it on my manager's desk. Tears streamed down her face. Please, sir, I will work harder. I will do anything. Just please do not take away my ability to care for my daughter. Cameron was quiet. Then he said, You are not being fired. Jennifer stared. What? You are being promoted. I do not understand. I need a director of employee relations, Cameron said. Someone who understands what it means to be on the other side. Someone with compassion. Someone who raises. A daughter brave enough to walk into a boardroom and advocate for her mother. He smiled slightly. The job comes with a significant raise, better hours, full benefits. Jennifer could not speak. Sir, also, Cameron continued, no one is being fired. Today? What? I am canceling the layoffs, Cameron said. All 43 people keep their jobs. We will find another way to cut costs, starting with executive bonuses, including mine. He looked at Ella, who was watching him with those serious blue eyes, because a little girl reminded me that these are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are people, people with families, people who matter. Jennifer was crying openly now. Thank you, Cameron said. Both of you. That Christmas, Cameron did not spend alone. Jennifer invited him to their modest apartment for dinner. Nothing fancy, just spaghetti and store-bought cookies. But Ella's laughter filled the space, and Jennifer's smile was genuine, and Cameron felt something he had not felt in years home. Why? Did you do it? Jennifer asked after Ella was asleep. Change the layoffs. Cameron thought about how to answer, because your daughter walked into my boardroom and asked me not to break her world, and I realized I had the power to make that choice. 2. Be the kind of person who protects, rather than destroys. He looked at Jennifer. She is remarkable. She gets that from you. I am just trying to survive. You are doing more than surviving, Cameron said. You are raising an incredible human being. You are working yourself to exhaustion to give her a good life. That is heroic. Over the following months, Cameron and Jennifer grew close. He started joining them for dinner regularly, helped Ella with puzzles, read bedtime stories, fell in love with both. Of them one evening 6 months after that Christmas, Cameron knelt in front of Ella. Can I ask you something important? Yes. How would you feel if I asked your mommy to marry me? Ella's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Will you be my daddy? If you will let me, Ella threw her arms around him. Yes, yes, yes. At their wedding, Ella was the flower girl. She carried Patches down the aisle. During his vows, Cameron said, last Christmas Eve, I was about to fire 43 people, including the woman who is now my wife. Then a little girl walked into my boardroom. He looked at Ella and asked me not to fire her mommy. She was 4 years old, holding a teddy bear, but she was the bravest person I had ever met. He turned to Jennifer, your daughter, saved you that day, but she saved me too. She reminded me that leadership is not about profit margins. It is about protecting the people who trust you. She taught me that family is not weakness. It is everything. His voice broke. Thank you for letting me be part of yours. Jennifer was crying. You gave us more than a job that day. You gave us hope. You showed Ella that speaking up matters. That one voice can change things. She looked at her daughter, and you showed me that being vulnerable is not the same as being weak. Years later, Ella would tell the story about the Christmas Eve she walked into a boardroom, about asking a CEO not to fire her mother, about how one moment of courage changed 3 lives. Mommy always tells me to use my voice, she would say. So I did, and it worked. Not because I was loud, but because someone chose to listen. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the most important messages. Sometimes a child's plea changes a CEO's heart, and sometimes the family you build is stronger than the one you imagined, because it was chosen. With courage, with love, with a little girl and a teddy bear, reminding us all what really matters. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it with someone who needs a reminder that speaking up can change everything. Subscribe for more stories about courage and chosen families. Comment and tell us about a time when a child's words changed your perspective. Your story might inspire someone to listen more carefully to the smallest voices today.